Can you trust D'Andre Swift and Jonathan Taylor in your starting lineups for week 7? Plus, who should you promote from your bench to your starting lineup? All that and more in this episode of the Locked On Dynasty Football Podcast.
You are Locked On Dynasty Football, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Here are your hosts, Mosher and Kate Magdziuk.
Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. Welcome into the Locked On Dynasty Football Podcast, everybody. I am Kate Magdziuk. You could follow me on Twitter at FFBallBlast. And as always, I am joined by Mosher. You could follow him on Twitter at Marcus_Mosher. Before you X out of your app today, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave us some 5-star reviews, help others find the show, and we'll help you build the ultimate dynasty roster. Marcus, we are headed into a not overloaded week 7. We're missing some key teams. We're missing basically all of our fantasy assets. So big yikes.
I call this the brownie points week, which basically means like if you are a big football fan, like we are, obviously, you earn some brownie points with your spouse by saying, "Hey, let's go to the pumpkin patch this week, or let's go pick apples," because this is not the greatest slate of games, Kate, but it's a very important one for fantasy as we're kind of like that midway point of the season. We've got some running backs returning to the field, 3 of them actually that I want your thoughts on as we go into the week. Jonathan Taylor. He's coming off a high ankle sprain. The expectation is that he's going to try to play. I mean, this is just my gut. I think he's dealing with a high ankle sprain here. Can you trust him against the Titans here in week 7?
Again, every time I have one of these situations, it comes down to not necessarily all the reporting, because in most of these situations, we don't get very clear reporting ahead of this game about what to expect from, Jonathan Taylor's role if he's active. The deciding factor here, when you have these studs coming off injury for me, is whether or not you can stomach it if Jonathan Taylor puts up 30 points and he is sitting on your bench. For me,
I can, because
that
it means that
answer
he's
is
healthy.
no.
For me, it's yes. Because
yes, theoretically, but Marcus, in terms of deciding whether or not he's in your lineup, like, can you would you rather have 30 points on your bench from Jonathan Taylor, or would you rather have
a 7-point game?
A 7-point game.
The hard part is okay, so they're playing at Tennessee this week. The last time Jonathan Taylor played a game was against Tennessee. 20 carries for 42 yards, 1 catch for 1 yard, a 3-point game. I think he also had a fumble in that game. I just worry about running backs in their first game back from a high ankle injury. I'll give you an example. I'm in a league. It's actually a vampire dynasty league, and this is the week that I play the vampire. Which, have you ever played in a vampire league before?
No.
Oh, this is great. So the vampire, it's a 12-team league, but the 12th team doesn't draft. They only can pick up players in free agency, and every time they beat a team, they get to pick one player off their team to put on the roster. But they have to declare before the game who they're going to try to grab. I'm playing the vampire this week. He wants Jonathan Taylor. But I don't think I'm going to play Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to play Raheem Mostert over Taylor this week, just because I feel better that Mostert's probably going to get me a 13, 14-point game rather than Taylor, who could play 3 plays and figure out that the Colts could find out he's just not healthy enough to play.
So here's, I think, my strategy. If you have a player like Raheem Mostert, who has been getting a significant workload, has plenty of upside, has a good matchup against the Steelers, that's great. If Jonathan Taylor very might well be your most, your Raheem Mostert this week. Like, that might be your biggest chance of upside with the number of buys and the number of injuries. So if you need to start Jonathan Taylor, you do. But the way that I construct the rest of my roster is influenced then. So if I'm going with Jonathan Taylor, that I know is has the potential for a very a low volume week, and that's within the realm of possibilities, I'm going to offset that by, going with some of maybe my riskier players, but ones with that have higher upside to
Sure.
try to offset that. If Jonathan Taylor puts up a dud, is there somebody that I can slot in there who could put up a big enough banger to keep me in contention?
Yeah, I think it's all about your upside too. You could look at your matchup and think, hey, do I need the possibility of somebody getting 25 plus points? Because like for me, it's not going to be Raheem Mostert, right? But I like the rest of my team that I just don't want to take a 0 or a 3 or whatever. So
Yep.
let's talk about another running back. Let's talk about D'Andre Swift. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys about Simply Safe. Simply Safe is absolutely the best. Let me give you a sports analogy here to help you kind of get back on track. Simply Safe is the absolute best way to protect your home. Here are three of our favorite things: football, and saving money. So let's talk about how saving big money right now with Simply Safe Home Security. They are offering Locked On Dynasty listeners 40% off their advanced security system. Simply Safe was just named the best home security of 2022 by US News. They love it. I love it. You'll love it because it's Simply Safe. Your safety is the only thing that matters. They have advanced technology, whether it's controlling your system from your phone with the app, watching the crystal clear HD live stream of your security cameras. They have a wide variety of high-tech sensors or something else. They've got the absolute best technology to make sure that your home is safe. They have 24/7 professional monitoring services that cost only $1 a day. Actually, it's even less than $1 a day. That is less than half the cost of ADT's traditional professional installed plans. Don't miss the chance to save big when you protect your home with the best. Get 40% off your order when you visit simplysafe.com/lockedonnfl today. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes. That is simplysafe.com/lockedonnfl. Go today. There is no safe like Simply Safe. All right, Kate, let's talk about D'Andre Swift. Coming off a shoulder injury. It's not clear whether he's going to play for sure or not. He had a couple limited practices. Going up against the Cowboys, who have a pretty good defense, would you trust him in your lineup this week?
If he plays, yes, I will trust him. I trust him a bit more than I do Jonathan Taylor. The news always was that, even if he was going to be, closer to ready, we'd probably see him sit through the bye week just to
Yeah.
get him a little bit of extra time. So the fact that he's had a little bit of that extra time to completely rest, I'm much more comfortable starting D'Andre Swift than I am Jonathan Taylor.
And I'm in complete agreement with you because while the matchup on paper doesn't look great, like the Cowboys defense, one of the best in the league, one of the ways that they've been exposed is on the ground. Teams that just want to run the crap out of the ball can have a lot of success against the Cowboys, and especially on some underneath passes. So I think this game sets up really well with D'Andre Swift. I don't think we're going to see him get like 22 carries or anything like that, but you know, 14 carries, 3-4 receptions. I think that's very realistic for him in this game.
Yeah, I think that's totally within the realm of possibility. Just overall thinking of, this offense again, we're in a week where times are tough, Marcus. Like with the matchup, I do think, I'm fine starting D'Andre Swift as long as he's active, of course. But even if D'Andre Swift's active, how do you feel about starting Jamal Williams, who's been kind of a featured like goal line asset for this team? Because again, times are tough, Marcus, and not like it's hard, especially in a dynasty league. Like my most successful dynasty leagues, guess what? I have a lot of Bills. I have a lot of Eagles. Like these are the teams. I have Justin Jefferson. I have
Yep.
Kirk Cousins. Like these are offenses that I invested heavily in,
Well,
and I knew they all shared a bye week, but it.
let me give you a real life situation that I have in one of my leagues. I need an RB2, and I'm looking at Tony Pollard and Jamal Williams. For me, I would rather start Pollard in this game just because I think the Lions defense. Actually, I don't. We know the Lions defense is bad, and I just got a feeling that he's more likely to get 12, 14 touches, but I don't think either are bad options, especially with all of the running back injuries and the fact that we've got some bye weeks this week.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
fair.
Next one, J.K. Dobbins. We saw him start last week against the Giants. John Harbaugh said his knee tightened up a little bit, and that's why they went with Kenyon Drake, who rushed for over 100 yards, which is ridiculous. Can you trust J.K. Dobbins in your starting lineup this week?
No, period. Actually, like Marcus, this is going to be a spoiler alert to our promotion commotion, but I've gotten a lot of questions about Kenyon Drake, and I want to say to everybody that like Kenyon Drake is my promotion commotion, like a low hanging fruit, if you will. But like they get the Browns this week, which is the perfect matchup. But like J.K. Dobbins is the kicker here, right? The knee tightening up, that is super concerning.
Yeah.
In his second game back, got up to 50% of offensive snaps, and his snap share has decreased every single week since. Like that is not the direction you want to see the snap share go for J.K. Dobbins in his return. It should be trending up, not down.
Yeah. Scary.
It's very scary. And I do think that like if J.K. Dobbins is having issues, like they're already decimated at the running back position by injury. Like they still don't have Gus Edwards back in this mix. Like there are a lot of different things that I think they need to consider before they really give J.K. Dobbins a full workload. Is there a risk of further injuring that knee if they play him too much? Kenyon Drake, consider him promoted from all of my benches into my starting lineups this week.
All right. I want to go through a couple of receivers that are either just not playing well or are banged up, and you tell me if they are locked to start. So just basically, yes, start, no, keep them on your bench, or flex only. Okay. T. Higgins.
Start.
Okay. CeeDee Lamb, dealing with a little bit of a hip injury, but he does get Dak Prescott back.
I am inclined to say yes, but I'm going to leave the final verdict to you, Marcus, who's got the inside track to this information.
I would start him this week. Lions secondary is pretty atrocious. I mean, it's bad. Terry McLaurin, just nothing wrong with him. He's got a bad quarterback right now.
Nope.
So you're not even putting him in your flex.
Nope. Not for now.
I have a hard time disagreeing, but okay. Rashad Bateman, assuming he is cleared and back on the field.
No. Flex only. But I again worry about the upside here in comparison to like a Jonathan Taylor. Like I think his upside is significantly lower compared to Jonathan Taylor. Yep. So that's why I'm inclined to say flex only.
DJ Moore.
Nope.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. This is awful for DJ Moore. This is going to sound terrible.
You can't give him a pity start, Marcus. You can't put him in your lineup just because you feel bad about the fact that his quarterback can't find him on the field.
This is going to be the only time you ever hear me or any other person in the world say this. We need Sam Darnold back in the lineup.
Yeah.
Seriously, we saw last year, like DJ Moore, very productive with Sam Darnold. Like we need him back. That's how bad things have gotten right now. Any other receivers we should mention this week?
I think those are kind of the grossest of the grossest. I think that
Julio Jones, if he comes back,
no.
Sky Moore,
no.
It's a tough time to be.
I'm just going to shut my teams down for the week.
Yeah, just give them a bye week.
Yeah.
All right, let's do what everybody's here for. Let's do some promotion commotion. But before we do that, we want to tell you about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your football betting, and we've got basketball betting. Kate and I are actually in a fantasy basketball league together, which is a lot of fun. So if you want to start betting on the NBA, we highly recommend it. We made a lot of money last year betting on the NBA. So find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all of your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every single sport out there. It is the fastest and the easiest way to check in on all of your favorite games and events, including NFL, NBA, MLB, MMA, which, by the way, great MMA card this weekend, boxing and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, Kate. This is going to be the grossest promotion commotion in the history of promotion commotion, but we're here. Who are you promoting from your bench or from your waiver wires into your starting lineups?
All right. I already said Kenyon Drake, but as a reminder, Kenyon Drake, Cleveland's allowing the third most fantasy points to running backs. This could be a day for him, but I'm going to go even deeper in the running back poll, and I'm going to say Tevin Coleman. Welcome back to the 49ers. Welcome back to Kyle Shanahan's graceful presence. The Chiefs are allowing a league high 65 receiving yards to opposing running backs every single week on average. Fifth most fantasy points per game to running backs. I think that this is a prime spot for Kyle Shanahan to scheme more work for his best friend, his old buddy, Tevin Coleman.
It's just so gross. It's
no, you have to do it. You got to do it. Them's the rules.
Yeah, it's so awful. All right. Are you ready for mine?
No.
How about Paris Campbell? Like, he's healthy. Like, if you're ever going to play Paris Campbell, this is the time to do it. He's coming off a strong game, 57 yards and a touchdown, and you're not just chasing points either because he got 11 targets. I don't believe that the Colts are going to be able to run the ball in this game. So why couldn't Paris Campbell get 5 receptions for 50 yards and score a touchdown? If you absolutely need a receiver, I kind of like Paris Campbell this week against the Titans.
All right. I see you one Paris Campbell and I raise you a Josh Reynolds.
Okay.
So, I mean, Josh Reynolds, he's definitely benefited tremendously from the absence of Amon-Ra St. Brown, D'Andre Swift. But like, while these guys have been out, he's actually been pretty solid in the last 3 weeks. 3 straight games of 80 or more receiving yards. He's had a touchdown in that span. I think that the Detroit Lions, like if, let's say they're not entirely healthy at the running back position, if D'Andre Swift isn't going to be out there running as many routes or I think there are plenty of factors here that could dull that upside. What did I say?
Roots, I think. Hey, you meant
roots. Roots. Oh my God, roots. Wow. I'm just happy Friday. It's not even Friday. We're recording this on Thursday ahead of Thursday Night Football, everybody. I'm disoriented, I think. Anyway, but going back to I think there are plenty of factors that could lower the ceiling a bit for Josh Reynolds. But I also think if you're in a PPR league, I think he could at least put up a good solid, 12, 13 points for you this week.
All right. I got a quarterback for you. What about Taylor Heineke? Last year we saw him start 15 games for the Commanders. He does give you a little bit of rushing potential. He averaged 20 rushing yards a game last year. Nothing great. Scrappy. He does throw the ball down the field a little bit. Plus, we've seen Green Bay really struggle against mobile quarterbacks. So, Kate, would it shock you if he had 230 passing yards, 20 rushing yards, and a touchdown or 2? If you're in a super flex league and you need that QB2 because maybe you've got Mac Jones and he's been banged up, or you're just not comfortable starting Dak yet, I think Taylor Heineke, a nice little QB2 this week.
I don't hate it. He's got a little bit of that dog in him.
Yeah. He's aggressive. He's not physically talented, but he's going to throw the ball down the field, give his playmakers a shot. And I don't think Carson Wentz is so bad at handling pressure. Heineke
you could have ended it as Carson Wentz is so bad.
There you go. Heineke is not good either, but he's at least going to run around a little bit. So I think he's going to give you a nice little floor with the rushing yards.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I think that honestly, Taylor Heineke starting is probably the one little thing in the back of my mind that says oh, maybe we could start Terry McLaurin this week, but I still don't trust it. But Terry McLaurin, I think is the one little shining piece that we have to consider in this offense.
By the way, I just want to let you know that I had some other guys lined up for potential commotions, and they're so bad that they don't even deserve to be mentioned on the podcast.
No, I want to hear one more. Give us one more disgusting one.
Kadarius Hodge for the
Oh God.
Falcons. I mean, I think he could get like 5 or 6 targets in this game. N'Keal Harry, I think, is going to be active for the Bears this week.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
That's where
rough.
we're at,
I mean,
folks.
it's not great. It's really not great, but that's where we're at. All right, I think that's enough grossness for this show. What do you think?
I think we close it out on a gross note. That's the way to go.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for making Locked On Dynasty your first listen every day. Now make your second listen to Peacock and Williamson NFL show. Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson give you the expert NFL analysis in less than 30 minutes. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Kate and I will be back on Monday to break down all of the awesome Week 7 matchups. I believe you're going to Dolphins Steelers, aren't you?
I am. I'm going there. Please don't murder us, Tua. Don't murder us. I just want to have like a decent game with my family. That's all I ask, guys.
I think you might get a win. We'll see. I think it'll be a little bit. Yeah, we'll see.
Wow. Thank you, Mark.
Go download the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Go check us out on YouTube, Locked On Dynasty over there. Follow Kate at FF Ball Blast. Please subscribe to her newsletter. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm at Marcus _Mosher. We'll see you guys next time.